cost of living taxes. My brother in Christ, do you know what your taxes are currently going to? Do you know how much of our collective taxes are currently going to things they should not be going to? Like, objectively so? They got money for war, but they can't feed the poor? Ring a bell? We're not talking about more taxes. We're talking about a reallocation of taxes to appropriate things that benefit the majority of society, not killing people. Feeding and housing everyone costs an arm and a leg in taxes. My brother...
Not an answer, but it's so good. Grr, what's the G stand for? I don't know. I say, is it supposed to be stupid? It's not stupid. It's advanced. Yes, it won't even be. So those moments are I like. I also like Jonan's face that Jonan says that transferred insanity directly. Excellent work, me. And then,
the Great Kupal Library. Oh, oh, oh. Let's go. Doing my dailies. Doing my chores. Hiya.
mostly watching one of these. And I'm to the part where Luffy went into the mirror world and is fighting Katakuri.
How the fuck are girls allowed to wear waist trainers, but it's considered...
Okay, I have a confession.
Okay. Okay. It's okay, my friend. Oh my god. Here goes the pain. Okay. No, not yet. She's not done. Oops, not my face.
Yeah, she had a bad experience, and since then, every time we take a photo of him, it's been quite aggressive.
Were they able to clip the nails at least?
Tooth decay? Why are these so cute? I cannot even get over it. This is the perfect solution for extra toilet paper. I love it so much, I don't even know why. It's...
Yeah, I should have. I think I'm just gonna send it on him.
You guys, look at...
I've never understood why so many people think Light Yagami was a smart character. Like, I just saw an article that was talking about how Light is one of the smartest people in all of anime. But, like, even in his own show, he's kind of a dumbass. Like, on one hand, I kinda get it. We're watching the story from his perspective. And we constantly hear his internal monologue as he talks about how he is the most brilliant person to have ever lived. How no one can hold up to his rigorous intellectual might. But, like, objectively, if you look at his actions throughout the story, he's an idiot. He is given a perfect, untraceable weapon that can kill anyone, anywhere in the world, any way he wants. And he has wiretaps in his room within 7 episodes. Light does nothing but make blunder after blunder, mistake after mistake, all while monologuing about how smart he is. Light Yagami isn't a genius. He's just a narcissist. He's a high schooler with a god complex. And the only reason he ever had the upper hand on anyone is because he was the only one who knew the rules to the game that they were all playing. I've never understood why so many people think Light Yagami was a smart character.
The biggest I don't know. Yoasobi.
Not now, because right now...
I'm just trying to be myself. I got everybody mad at me for it. I hate to be so. They give me a surplus battery for it. This is expensive.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh my gosh! Look at me, he's about to go right now. You need to go.
Hey.
Well, as I say, the breaking news of the night is that Donald Trump's illegal tariffs are gone, thanks to a ruling of the United States Court of International Trade. Futures trading is now soaring tonight in the expectation of an explosively positive reaction by the stock market tomorrow when the world will reset itself around the restoration of law and order in international trade and...
Not this guy again. Yo, man. There's no dirt bikes allowed in the neighborhood, bro.
No, it's just not a dirt bike, man. This is actually an e-bike. It's classified as an e-bike. It's got the pedals and everything. And it actually got 5 different gear modes, so, like, if you need to stay inside of the speed limits in the neighborhoods, you can. But it tops out at 35, so it's like a super solid bike for sure.
Oh man, I probably couldn't afford one of these things. How much do these things cost?
No, dude, you could definitely afford it because they're normally like 4K, but if you grab it on TikTok, I think you can get it for like 1,500 from the link down below. So I'll leave one there for you, and anybody else wants to grab one.
Oh, that's sick, man. Take care.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I kind of eat this one now.
A federal court has delivered a major decision that blocks President Donald Trump from using emergency powers to impose
Oh, what happened?
Ken? They always...
We are fully in the swing of dictatorship. I think that our lives are not in danger, but our freedoms are. And people on the right are finally waking up to the fact that, this no tax on overtime, only if you make under 100K, right, doesn't help tradespeople. They're starting to realize that, at the end of the day, somebody who has always coveted money and power is just out to expand his wealth and help his friends, which don't include people like me and you. And so I think we're waking up to the fact that dictatorship is not looming, it's here. It's here, especially after this section 70302 of the new budget bill. What are you going to do about it?
Do I stop suppressing my...
Prices are high today. Some all.
Mana, whenever I feel like it, or whenever you tell me to.
You'll do it for as long as I have. For life.
For life?
So disappointed.
It's the old American double standard, you know, say one thing, do something different.
If you're a Pokemon fan, you're gonna love this. I bought these wall decks.
Right. I suggest we begin by learning what we can from the sentries. What's going on out there?
Travelers, are you? You may wish to postpone your plans. The Garleans have launched an attack on the Confederacy. We have no reason to believe they'll turn their attention here, but for your own safety, I suggest you return to Kugane.
The Garleans bear no love for the Confederacy, but with Doma lost to them, why would they attack? Unless...
Unless Yotsuyu is on that island.
Even if she isn't, our allies are under attack and they need our help.
We will help them, while you remain with Soroban. Arguing will only delay us. Is that clear?
Fine, but you haven't heard the last of this.
Soroban, we may need to make a swift exit. See that the boat is ready to sail at a moment's notice.
It shall be done.
What, and you're going to swim there, are you?
'Tis the quickest way, and you may rest assured I've been practicing.
Okay.
Come.
Your defense is lacking. Leave this to me.
お金払うべきですか？
いえ、そんなことないと思います。
そうです。
Lady Yotsuyu, we're here to rescue you. Please, come with us.
Stay back, Tsuyu.
Are you all right?
Is he all right?
Gazetsu!
Damn it, we took too long. Change of plan. Eliminate hostiles. All forces, attack!
my forebears.
Gozetsu, thank the heavens!
Yugiri, my friends, the Kami were kind to guide your steps this way.
It's over. The Imperials are retreating. I suppose we have you to thank for that. But they would never have come here were it not for her. I had a bad feeling the moment your samurai friend arrived with that woman in tow.
Do not be afraid, Suyu. These people are my friends.
Friends.
Forgive me, but at the risk of souring the mood, I believe you owe us an explanation. You may start by telling us what happened at Doma Castle.
Of course. I'll not begrudge you that. As you know, we were trapped inside the keep when it collapsed. But even as the roof crumbled above us, so too did the floor below. We were swept out into the One River, where we would surely have drowned had a stout wooden door not chanced to float by, offering us a raft of sorts. Exhausted, we drifted out to sea, at the mercy of the tides, which saw fit to dispense us on a desert island.
She was with you the entire time?
Aye. 'Twas her kimono which saved her from Hien's blade, believe it or not. Some Garlean witchcraft in the weave. But it offered precious little protection against the fall. Though she survived, she awoke bereft of all her memories, and speaking like a child.
A trick, surely.
That was my first thought, aye. And I contemplated cutting her down and being done with it. Contemplated it long and hard. Yet the Kami saw fit to deliver us from certain death. 'Twas their will that we survive, both of us, together. And together we shall go before our master. He shall be the one to judge.
Judge what?
She's your prisoner, old man. Do with her as you will. Call her Tsuyu, or whatever else tickles your fancy.
'Twas a name given out of necessity whilst on the road. Nothing more.
As you say. But remember this. Our people suffered much at that woman's hands. When the time comes, I trust you won't let emotion blind you to what needs to be done.
You have my word.
Well, I must be going. I have an unholy mess to clean up. You should be on your way too, before the Imperials decide to take another tilt. Oh, and we'll overlook the tithe this once. You're welcome.
The tithe. Of course you'll overlook the tithe. Yotsuyu appearing as a neutral character is so jarring. It's like, yeah, she used to be a villain. Now she's just a dumb girl. Like, I'll be right back.
science. And if they don't like a study,
Okay, let's see.
they can demand it be retracted, they can discipline researchers, and they can kill the grants that funded it. The White House says it's about quality, but in reality, they set an impossible standard that nearly no study on Earth can meet. And if nothing qualifies, that means anything can be censored. This isn't just a theory. Trump's team has already shut down studies on vaccines, LGBTQ plus health, climate change, and women's rights. And if that sounds familiar, it should. Soviet Russia did this. Nazi Germany did this. They appointed political enforcers to police science, dismiss facts, and replace truth with state ideology. Millions died as a result. The fact that we're even inching in that direction in the United States should terrify everybody. We got some scary breaking news. Trump took another play out of the Soviet Union and Nazi playbook. Trump just quietly signed an executive order that could let political appointees control what counts as real science in America. This is not a conspiracy. This is Section 7 of a document called Restoring Gold Standard. We got some scary break.
If you've been looking for a new pair of earbuds, I
am the master of the legendary beasts.
And I, the master of the legendary birds.
I am the master of the legendary beasts.
And I, the master of the legendary birds.
I am the master of the legendary beasts.
And I, the master of the legendary birds.
That's funny.
I am the master of the legendary.
You have to spend money to make money. 10 points if you know where that's from. That's funny. That's a good TikTok right there. Okay, I don't know if I want to play that right now. Let's do a trial. Yotsu's just chilling. She's just hanging out. Everyone's staring at me. I understand I have the scions to thank for my katana's safe return. A samurai's blade is his soul, and no words will suffice to express my gratitude for reuniting me with mine. Gosetsu, thank the gods you're safe. It was all I could do to watch the battle from afar. And it was all I could do to restrain her. Can you blame me for worrying? Strong as Will is, anything could happen in the chaos. But enough about me. We need to talk about her. Everyone's staring at me. Greetings. They tell me you've lost your memory, and that's fine. But I want you to know something. I won't be taking my eyes off of you. Not for a moment. These people are strange. Are you sure they're your friends? I am. They may behave strangely, but I trust them with my life. You have naught to fear. All right, if you say so. And 'tis time we set sail. I, for one, would not keep Lord Hien waiting without due cause.
Aye, and the longer we tarry, the more risk we invite trouble. Lest you forget, the Red Kojin bear no love for Yotsuyu either. I shall deliver you to familiar shores near Asari, but out of the village's sight.
Does she know what she was like before she lost her memories? They might have Dango.
You would know more of my venture? Excellent. I should be glad to tell you all I know. Though perhaps it would be easier to let our anonymous client speak for herself. Here, their missive.
I get a blue quest. For the Ruby Sea and all who call her home. We seek the aid of the warrior who laid low the Lord of Revel. But first, we bid him make haste. We bid him make haste to Hell's Lid and quell on the Oni that dwell in its deepest depths. Should he succeed in this test, we shall speak of the true endeavor and consummate reward. A strange proposal, though it must be noticed that they knew both of your deeds and our part in them. The Red have no love of trickery, so I doubt it a trap of theirs, and should this client have honest intentions, then for the sake of these waters it may behoove us to engage them further. As for their test, enclosed with the missive was a magic big dagger, along with instructions as to how it may be used to open a hidden passage into the depths of Hell's Lid. I should mention that this dagger is old and exceedingly valuable, that our client was willing to entrust it to us without a guarantee of our cooperation bespeaks considerable wealth, and more importantly, considerable reward. If you are willing to undertake their trial, I shall journey to Hell's Lid and prepare to open the path. But given the financial incentive, I think it'd be the best I went and fetched Mr. Sataru. Wait for us there, then. Alright. Let's see what's going on here. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. So where is that? Doko desu ka? Ah, soko desu. Side content comes before main content. Is it Hell's Lid hard? Oni were foul, evil beings that tormented the peoples of the Ruby Sea, and this island was home to many until Tenzin, together with the four lords, drove the Oni into the sea. For his heroic deeds, Tenzin was showered with riches. He then journeyed deep into the mountain, far from the realms of men, and lived in solitude with his companions, happily ever after. And now Will's being asked to drive the Oni away again? You misunderstand. What I told you was a fairy tale. To the best of my knowledge, no one has ever seen an Oni. If anything, many assume the tale refers to ancient ancestors of the Kojin. Hell's Lid hard, Hell's Lid hard, Hell's Lid hard. Hell's Lid hard. Bye. Yes. Let me do the trial first. I'll do the trial first and then I'll do Hell's Lid. I'm getting very little story done at this rate, but dailies take a lot of time.
What is this video? Non-Guru explains how to print money with YouTube Shorts automation. What does this mean?
I know what you're thinking. This is probably another one of those clickbait videos of this guru telling me I'm going to make $1 bajillion with YouTube faceless automation. It's going to be 100% passive. I'm not going to have to do anything. It's not. This is something that gurus don't do. I'm going to show you the accounts that I have and how much money they're making.
I do think all gurus suck. Skip? Hold up. I've been enticed. The first 20 seconds have looped me in. I'm curious.
This account has 391,000 subscribers. And we'll go to the analytics here. You can see 7,000 this month, but over the past 90 days, 37 grand. The next channel that I have is this one, 97,000 subscribers. This one was also monetized recently, but again, you can see how hard it's going right now. This is in the first month. And then I have another account about to get monetized.
Dude, it's so interesting. Skip? Look, do you get slop on your feeds? Yes or no? If you don't, you're lying. You get slop on your feeds. I don't care where. I don't care if you get it on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. You get slop on your feet, and you're probably not happy with it. Or maybe probably sometimes you get baited into watching it too. There's a lot of slop. Maybe you only get the slop because you see the thumbnail of this short while you're scrolling to make channel video. I don't know. If you're getting it, come on. Don't act like you're fucking... I actually am not susceptible to any ads whatsoever. Actually, all products that I purchase are things that are recommended to me, and they're all local products. And also, I have never once jerked off. Okay, fine, cool, you're cool, okay? But for fucking real people in this chat who like beating their shit and they get a lot of slop on their table, then are you not a little curious where it comes from? Are you not a little curious about the factory that is making all this slop? Because I am. What are the incentives? How are they making the slop? How much effort are they actually putting in? Or maybe not. I'm curious.
And by the way, if you got a user subscription, you made a lot more. So on YouTube, they allow you to monetize extra by getting paid for certain songs on your channel.
What does that mean? Wait, I don't understand what this is. What does it mean? What do you mean? If you play a specific song in a video, and then that video gets a certain amount of views, you will get paid because the song itself. So it's like artificially inflating the views for the song by paying people to play that song. Oh, that makes sense. That's why all the slot videos have stupid background music. Yeah, I didn't actually notice this. I didn't notice it real. I guess that makes sense. They're basically trying to pay to win, like TikTok sounds.
You have to have a good niche. This is probably the most important part. If you pick the wrong niche, you are doomed from the start. If you pick a good niche, you have a chance to make a ton of money.
He does have good eyebrows. I was thinking that. They look manicured. They look threaded. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, for right now, I'm actually in a pretty... I don't know if anyone else is in this YouTube Shorts niche, but I'm in a niche of motorcycle accidents. If someone has been in a motorcycle accident and it was filmed, it's come up in my feed. Just horrible accidents. And I'm watching all of them. all the way through. I think it's good to watch. I think it's good to, I should watch this, no? If I am so, you know, comfortable riding the bike, I should know the dangers with it.
So for me, I have a checklist that I follow pretty religiously when it comes to doing your research. The videos are automatable and cheap.
Okay, yeah, that's where the slop comes in. We need these automatable, cheap videos to be churning out.
LS made a video on C9 from the 5 minutes of Doom problem. Okay, let's hear LS on our drafting.
Dom tells me Vi is just op thoughts. No, Vi's bad. Vi is bad. Here's what I think. I think if you had Worlds situation unfold and you had the top 4 teams play 100 games against each other on a tournament setting, not scrim setting, etc., I think everyone would suddenly start not wanting Vi. She is one-dimensional. She is telegraphed. Everything that she does is she doesn't have options. She's not the same as like Jarvan, right? That has utility. Like Jarvan.
Whoa, Jarvan is a way worse champion than Vi. Jarvan is a way worse champion than Vi. I mean, the thing about Vi is like Vi has a way lower cooldown dash that also gives you a shield and also has more direct combat power. So a champion like Vi is significantly better than a champion like Jarvan in most situations, right? Jarvan is a hyper niche champion that is essentially only good versus like in pro play versus champions that have no dashes. So yes, if you see that the enemy team has like Jhin locked in and has, you know, Jhin locked in and they have a Victor, whatever, you can potentially go Jarvan. But the problem with Jarvan is that Jarvan is also significantly weaker than Vi in skirmishes and like 1v1s. Like Vi just has more HP because of the blast shield. Vi has more reliable CC because Jarvan's CC is all like flashable, right? Like flash out of the ult, you can flash the combo. Whereas Vi can just always press R on you, and if you're in a skirmish, you can R first, then Q, and then Vi provides way more. So like, I think Vi is just straight up OP. Vi is just straight up an OP champion because you can do so much more. Like I actually view it the opposite. I think you can do so much more with Vi in the game than you can with Jarvan, because Vi has the ability to play on sides easier, has the ability to skirmish easier. Like Jarvan's skirmishing is unreliable, like we said. You can dodge EQ, you can flash EQ. Like Vi EQ flash you, and then you get the damage. The problem with Jarvan is you can EQ flash, but if you EQ flash on Jarvan, you don't get the damage, right? So if you like outplay somebody, or you're trying to like cut your animation to guarantee you hit it by flashing, then you don't get damage, you only get CC on Jarvan, and then you just don't have the ability to kill people. So I think Jarvan is way worse champion than Vi. Like, I don't even think they're in the same tier. Like, I would say that Jarvan's like I think Vi is an S tier champion, like an OG S tier champion, and I think Jarvan's like a D tier champion.
He can engage. He can also do a lot of disruption and stuff. You can make the argument that like she can play like defensive lineman and like do all this other type of shit, but she just can't. Not as well as some other things. Imagine.
I mean, that is true. She can't do that as well as some other things. The difference with Vi is that you are good at so many things. Like Jarvan can't block a flanker 1v1, right? Like a Vi with 2 items can 1v1 almost anyone, like that's not designed to 1v1. Obviously there's limitations if they have like a Jax or Fiora or something like that. or like a Renekton with ult. There's stuff like that. Because Vi has so much like engage, plus the ability to then like kite afterwards, because you have the CC and you knock somebody back, and you get like blast shield, and you buy like Sundered Sky, you buy like Sundered Sky Cleaver, you have a bunch of items that give you ability haste throughout the game. Like, it's very hard to deal with a Vi because she's so mobile. She's actually, I think she's more disruptive than Jarvan, because she has like, you know, her Q and her ult. Like, her ult is a full team CC if you ult somebody in the backline. I think Vi is just a disgusting champion. I think the champion's so OP.
If we're doing letter grades, if you only see things at an A tier grade, then I think the perception that Vi is good is, I think that's fine. If you see what is possible or what should exist, then I think that you see that Vi is bad. Now, if you're choosing Vi and you know that she's a fucking dog-awful champion, but you know that you're intentionally abusing the level of players that you're playing against, then that's different, right?
The problem, okay, I'll explain my full position on Vi. I'll explain my full position on Vi. Vi theoretically should be counterable because of weaknesses in Vi's kit, but not related to like how she fights, more related to the way that like the way that she plays. Her level 1 is bad, for example, right? Her level 1 is really bad. So you have to be creative level 1 to get away with it, or you need to pick strong lanes so that Vi is able to get through level 1. The problem with League of Legends right now is that clear speed doesn't actually end up mattering that much. You can't just pick a fast clear jungler. Like, it used to be that in Season 6, if you picked a fast clear jungler and the other guy didn't pick a fast clear jungler, you would naturally be up to 30 CS because you had so many camps to farm, and you would be 3 levels up, 2 levels up. There was more experience in the game. Less catch-up experience in the game. You'd be 2, 3 levels up. You'd be significantly stronger. The problem right now is that Vi, even if it's weak level 1, even if you get only 3 camps and the enemy jungler gets 9 camps, because of how League of Legends works now, you're still going to be able to play the game. You probably have to give for a Drake, give for a Scrubs, and then on your next rotation, once you're level 6, like, you're going to be like half a level down, bro. You're going to be like half a level down, maybe 1 level down. Like, it's going to be manageable. You're going to be able to play the game. So, like, the weakness of Vi is not even a weakness of the game, which is part of like the reason why a lot of the champions, like a lot of the things that I disagree with LS on is based on how I actually think the game is balanced, not like theory. Like, artillery should be good into a champion like Azir, right? Like, I understand that Xerath should be good into Azir, but the way the game is balanced with everyone having TP and everyone having so much sustain naturally in their kits from like, you know, absorb life existing, and like people can take second wind, and they can take Doran shield, they can take fleet forward, because you have so much access to sustain. Being poked in lane is not actually like viable, and you can get through the lane like as a human being versus another human being. You can get through the lane pretty easily, like, and then once you get out of that part of strength, you have so many more options to do stuff in the game. Like, Azir could go to a side lane and actually start pushing, and then Xerath has to just like perma group mid, or if she's in a side lane, or if Xerath is inside side, is Xerath a guy or a guy? I don't know. If Xerath is in a side lane, the team has to be hovering, warding constantly. You have to put so many resources into making sure that Xerath can just farm, that you open yourself up to so many different things. One of the reasons why Azir is such a great champion, the reason that Azir is first picked, is your lane is fine into everything. Your lane is literally fine into everything. Your side laning is good. You have mobility, so you're hard to gank. You have good frontline DPS. You have the ability to engage or disengage in team fights based on what the situation is. You have flexible builds. Like, other champions are locked into mana items. Almost every other mage in the game has to buy mana, right? You have to buy some form of mana items. Azir can just rush an Asher's Tooth. So sure, maybe you're like a little bit weaker when you come back and you're on a f***ing blasting wand or whatever, and the other guy's on, you know, like he's building, you know, Lost Chapter. Maybe you're a little bit weaker at.
So the other day we talked about this Jubilee video and how Jordan Peterson got absolutely cooked by a bunch of young atheists. That really went viral on the internet. I kept seeing this all over Twitter. I kept seeing it elsewhere, that so many YouTubers did videos on it, because it really does. It's like a clean, bright red line about him being washed, right? It being over for the run of the Daily Wire and the Ben Shapiros and the Jordan Petersons. And it really is glorious. What's kind of crazy is he hasn't changed that much. He's always been a bullshitter. He's always been a sophist. He's always talked a lot without saying anything. But there was a time where his charisma sort of overrode the substance of what he was saying, and people just liked that there was somebody saying something different, right? And so he became immensely popular, but now he's fallen off so hard. And I do think there is, part of it, I believe, is when he was massively addicted to Xanax or Klonopin, he went and got some fringe treatment in Russia where they like put him in a coma for him to detox, and since then, I mean, he really hasn't been the same since then. He's lost not only one step, he's lost multiple steps. So, first of all, I want to go back and revisit. There's another... I mean, go watch the whole video. I still haven't had a chance to go watch the entire thing, but all the clips I've seen, it's like every single participant, one after the other, just wipes the floor with this old sundowning man. And so I got one more clip from that for you, but then also, one of the kids who really laid the smackdown on Peterson, he's commented since then and, described a little bit about what went on behind the scenes, and that's fascinating. So Jordan Peterson, if you remember, the title of the video was 1 Christian versus 20 Atheists, and Jordan Peterson in the video refused to say he was a Christian. So it's like he agreed to do it on those terms, then he gets in there, he refuses to say he's a Christian, then Jubilee is forced to change the video title to Jordan Peterson versus 20 Atheists. I'm sure, behind the scenes, Jordan Peterson was like, angrily emailing these smear merchants at Jubilee, how dare you say it's a Christian? I'm not a Christian, I may be a Christian, but a little bit, but not fully, and I won't say it, so just change the title, please. And so, clearly, he's having a meltdown. Psychologically, he's not okay. He's a mess. But let's start with this one. Here's another participant who just hands him his ass cheeks on a silver platter. Let's watch.
1 Samuel 15:3, God says, go and slaughter the Amalekites, slaughter the men, the women, the children, the infants. What's the justification for that? Is that in line
That's a
with
good
Christian
question.
ethics?
That's a good question. I don't really know what to do with the terrible, blood-soaked, saturated history of the human past. I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. I mean, what you try to do in your own life, as far as I can tell, is to conduct yourself in a manner that makes such things much more unlikely.
What is with... I don't get why he does that face thing. I know he's trying to do, I'm a stern father, and I will put you in your place, sir. I know he's trying to do that routine, but, like, you come across looking really weak and desperate when you... Like, look at his face as he answers this. Watch his face.
Oh, blood-soaked, saturated history of the human past. I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. I mean, what you try to do in your own life, as far as I can tell, is to conduct yourself in a manner that makes such things much more unlikely.
I totally agree.
We're all saddled with the problem of the catastrophes that got us here, aren't we?
Yeah, but this one was commanded by God. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what differentiates it from anything else, is that this one, it's God saying, go and do this atrocity.
Do you think that there's ever such a thing as a righteous war?
I'm skeptical. I'm not sure. It would probably be situational.
Well, right, fair enough.
Yeah, but this one certainly wasn't a just war. The context for the Amalekite slaughter is that 400 years earlier, they fought one battle, which they lost, and God says, that's it, I'm going to wipe them off the face of the goddamn earth. And then 400 years later, he commands the Israelites to genocide their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren. That's not a just war at all. And also, a genocide is not a war.
Well, a genocide can be a war, but...
Absolutely not. Look, the genociding of the Amalekites, the men, the women, and the infants, that's not a war. The infants aren't combatants.
Look, I already said that it's very difficult to look at the blood-soaked past and to know exactly what to do about it.
This is incredible. This clip is so... It really highlights this huge problem with religious thinking. Is that... And again, this is supposed to be Christian versus atheist. So if you're a Christian, it's like, well, here's this objectively horrible thing that happens in the Bible that God commanded them to do. What the fuck, man? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. That's a very bloody past. Okay, but again, we're saying atheists versus Christians. You're going to have to make some attempt to defend the nature of the book that you say is holy, that has all the answers. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of things. So, the point, effectively, that the atheist guy's making is like, I don't know, man. It seems like a pretty bad idea to base your worldview around a book where at least half the time the commands are to be a worse person, to be brutal, to be immoral, to be evil, to slaughter infants. Why would of all the things to base your morality on and your ethics on, how you live your life? Wouldn't you make a document that's just like across the board positive things? Wouldn't you want to base your life on a document that doesn't say, hey, genocide the infants? It's like, it's so straightforward, and that's the problem with religious faith. Guys, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of Christians, there are plenty of people in all religions where they either blow off the Holy Book, or they only look at the positive parts of the Holy Book, and they base their lives on the positive parts. And those people, fundamentally, are functionally good people in how they act with other individuals, how they go through their life. So I don't want to say they're a bad person because they happen to be in a religion. But at the same time, again, it is much more logical and reasonable to just do the right thing for the sake of it being the right thing. And obviously we all have a more accurate, moral, intuitive sense of how to act in this world, which is better than, you know, multiple 1,000-year-old holy books. Like, maybe they didn't know that much back then. Maybe there is a blood-soaked past and a blood-soaked history. Maybe we can strive to be better than that. We can progress in the right direction, right? And so, oh, man. Oh, this is brutal. And again, this gets back to the main problem with Peterson, which is what? he cannot be direct. He cannot be straightforward. He cannot just say what he thinks because it's not actually defensible. And so what he does is put up this massive smoke screen of deflections and obfuscations and leaving himself wiggle room and trying to like jujitsu with the person he's talking to and never be direct. And I'm sorry, but look, when I look at this video, in my mind, I'm going, oh shit, we're about to witness a revival of atheism again. You know what I'm saying? Because there was that time online when you had like the new atheist movement and there were a lot of internet atheists and it was like different and at the time a breath of fresh air dealing with like the Bush administration and how Christian they were and how fundamentalist they were and how they wanted to use the government to force their religion on others, wanting to add an amendment to the Constitution to ban gay marriage. Like, you needed at that time sort of like a militant atheism that was like, you guys are actually a bunch of idiots and you're wrong about all this, right? And then now that sort of went to sleep. It was a long slumber, right? And then now, watching this, again, not only does it prove that Peterson is washed, but it also, it's like a moment here where it's like, hey, maybe the atheists had a lot of good points. Maybe they were actually correct. And maybe it's not a good idea to base your philosophy and your worldview on a book where, yeah, half the time it's all peace and love and hippie stuff, which is great, but the other half the time it's like, murder the infants. So shout out to this guy. I love this. And that's the thing, like, if you can't handle, in this debate, if you can't just say, oh, that story is horrible in the Bible, we don't like that, I unequivocally condemn it, and we should not do genocides, and we should not kill infants. If you can't just say that, like, I'm sorry, you're just a chief bullshit artist. That's what you are. So now, let's get to, this is one of the guys that absolutely routed Jordan Peterson to his face and told him that he's nothing. And he's going to give you some backstory, and I find this really, really interesting. I like what he has to say here. Let's get it.
You're really quite something, you are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing, right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
Yeah, that was me. I want to give some background. First of all, before the production, people all got emails, invitations, where the production title was One Christian versus 20 or 25 atheists. Everyone got that email, at least on the atheist side. Of course, I don't know what personal emails they sent to Jordan Peterson, but before production, they announced, once again, the production title as being One Christian versus 20 atheists. Jordan Peterson actually responded and actually, I think, giggled and said, well, some people don't consider me to be a Christian. He embraced the label before the filming, right? I really think he just had something like a Joe Biden moment. He didn't really understand what it meant to say, yes, I'll be that one Christian in your video. If he was responsible, he would have declined. If he doesn't label himself as a Christian, like he didn't really answer my question, like whether he was a Christian or not, then he should have never entered the arena. And yeah, the whole Mary worship thing, all I was trying to show there is that you play with words. You're going to say stuff like Catholics worship the saints and Mary and their Pope, right? Which they don't want to, they're not inclined to say that. Maybe there's a technical sense in which they worship them. That's not the point. That's not where he got owned. He got owned for accepting to be the one Christian and then saying in the production, yeah, I'm not telling you that I'm a Christian. And for those that don't know, Jubilee changed the title after public release. They got the backlash. Why did you invite Jordan Peterson to do the whole one Christian versus 20 atheists? He's barely a Christian, if not even. So I understand why Jubilee changed the title, although that makes my point, kind of diminishes my point, but everybody, I think the top comment is that, yeah, they changed the title of the video. But at the same time, it's hard to blame Jubilee completely. I mean, maybe they made a mistake. I wouldn't say that.
No, I really don't think so. Jordan Peterson knew it was one Christian versus 20 atheists. I think that was communicated to him perfectly. I think he agreed to it, but I think you guys did such a good job pummeling him into dust in this debate that he felt like, look, I got to back off the broad claim of I'm a Christian because I can't really defend it, right? And if you ask him about the resurrection, he's like, well, I don't know, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. I consider myself a Christian, but it depends what you mean by consider, and it depends what you mean by Christian. Like he's got, this is what he does. He's a little weasel boy. He's all over the place. But watch, this kid's about to show a video of when Jordan Peterson actually did at one time say, I am a Christian. And he actually said, I believe in the resurrection. So, but again, this is the problem with fundamentalist Christians, and this is the problem with conservatives, is that they're completely and utterly full of shit. These are movements based on absolute lies. Because they contradict themselves all the time. They flip-flop all the time. They will never be direct with you and tell you what they actually believe and then stand by that 10 toes down. And so I got that grand conclusion is coming in a little bit, but let's watch.
If you look at Jordan Peterson's content very closely, especially the last couple months, he's been saying stuff like, yeah, there's a sense in which Christianity is true, or yes, Jesus rose from the dead. In fact, if you take a video camera 2,000 years ago outside of his tomb, yeah, maybe a person would come out.
I want to be clear. What is the God you believe in?
I think that the claim that Christ is the embodiment of the prophet and the laws, I think that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's complicated. It's very, very complicated, but I think it's true.
So you believe that Jesus was
God?
God.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the guy that was interviewing him, right? He had asked multiple times. He was trying to get clarification, and he was so sweet about doing it. I just wasn't sweet about it. I'm tired of the BS, right? Like, I'm tired of the, am I a Christian? What does it mean? What does it all mean? But yeah, I believe, or maybe I don't. Like, it's bullshit. Stop. Be straight with the answer. I'm just gonna be assertive about it. That guy was just being nice. I'm just not.
Put it this way: if I went back in time with a Panasonic video camera and put that camera in front of the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea, would the little LCD screen show a man walk out of that tomb?
I would suspect yes.
So that to me seems like a belief in the historical event of the resurrection, or at least of Jesus leaving the tomb, which means that when somebody says, do you believe that Jesus rose from the dead? It doesn't seem clear to me why you're not able to just say, it would seem to me yes.
And look, again, Alex O'Connor being very sweet, cordial, you can tell he's frustrated. But again, civil, I'm not civil because I'm sick and tired of the BS. I think even Alex is sick and tired of the BS. He's just a nice person. I'm not. Most people are sick and tired of it. Just be straight with the answer. Stop confusing people. And no, I do not blame Jubilee for inviting you because you're as clear as mud. And it looks like you are a Christian. You think this guy's got it. So I would say Jordan Peterson is the one that's mostly at fault, right? And Jubilee is suffering because he accepted the whole game.
I'm telling you, bro, the vibes have shifted. Look at when Sam Cedar went and did a Jubilee debate against the MAGA Republican. Sam Cedar annihilated them so thoroughly that after the fact, a bunch of Republicans were sharing the clips, assuming and pretending like Sam Cedar was the right-winger who owned a bunch of lefties, but it was the opposite. Sam Cedar is the lefty, he was owning a bunch of right-wingers. The vibes have immensely shifted, y'all. Trump is on the downswing at the moment. He is collapsing. Online, it was peaking with right-wing bullshit leading up to this past election. And then now, guess what? They got the curse of getting everything they wanted. Republicans have the presidency, they have the House, they have the Senate, they have the President. People realizing, oh my God, everything is objectively getting worse and worse and worse. This is not good for us, this is not good for me, this is not good for the country. We are screwed by these people. And so, Sam Cedar kills it on Jubilee, Peterson goes on there and eats a bag of dicks. Just grinds penises up into a paste and chugs it on air, bro. That's what happened. And I love not only this kid, but I love all the other atheists who did the debate because they all were so sharp, so quick, but most importantly, so direct. And that is what has been missing for the rise of this right wing is look, it's over. It's over. Down with the bullshitters, down with the liars, down with the con men, the frauds, the charlatans. This is now, we're officially declaring it, this is the era of bluntness. Say what the fuck you believe and stand on it. No more of this bullshit where Trump says, Kamala's a warmonger. This Janie's a warmonger. She just wants to shoot people. Then the second he gets in office, we're going to take Greenland, we're going to steal Panama, we're going to own Gaza and take it over and build casinos and hotels on the beach. We're going to go to war with Iran. We're going to threaten war with Mexico. We're going to try to do another coup in Venezuela. You cannot. I mean, this drives me crazy because it never used to stick to these assholes. You cannot say one thing, support literally the fundamental exact opposite, and then somehow maintain your same level of support? A gaggle of total idiots who are still hang on every word Trump says and agree with it and support it, even though he said he did the polar opposite of the thing that he said he was going to do, which is on every fucking issue is like that. I'm not going to let you gouge the outsource anymore. I'm not going to, oh, what's that? In my first term, we lost 200,000 jobs, and now I'm killing another 115,000 this term by killing the CHIPS Act from Biden. You can't say I'm going to bring the jobs back and then do policies that ship the jobs overseas. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're not direct, you're not straightforward, you're not blunt, you don't even really know what you believe. The Trump himself is just all fucking corruption, right? Corruption and insanity, psychopathy. And Jordan Peterson is the fucking same. He can't be blunt, he can't be straightforward, he can't tell you what he thinks, because his whole life is bullshitting everybody around him all the time. deflect, obfuscate, use a lot of words, but say nothing of substance. And guess what? It's over now, son. You just got in front of a room of a bunch of young atheists who are used to being direct, used to being straightforward, used to actually thinking about the issues and taking stances on them. And they exposed your ass with the most simple questions imaginable. They exposed your ass. So I'm sorry, but the era of the charlatan is over. It's done. And it's not coming back. It's the era of bluntness. It's...
How's it going, bros?
My name is...
Check it out. New camera. What do you guys think? Pristine. This is actually...
If me and Mice are traveling with the dogs.
To make all of this happen, I decided to use a Raspberry Pi. You probably heard...
December 19th,
I'm going to be right back. All right, I will.